everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hi.
We have so many guests today. So, okay, let's start. We're going to talk, this is Friday Facts. We're going to talk about delivery as a surrogate. So,
I'm Mary Johnson. I'm first-time surrogate, and I just got to have the incredible honor of delivering my first surro babe on Saturday night. So about a day and a half ago.
Wow. Cheapers creepers. Bless your heart for being here.
My God, it's not even like 48 hours, is it? Like,
No,
girl,
tonight it will be.
you look beautiful. What the hell? What happened to me
you.
when I delivered? Crap, I was like, oh my God. Okay. All right, whatever.
You're the sweetest.
Carrie Hernandez. I am a third-time surrogate, working on a journey right now for the third time, and I've delivered one surro baby.
Yay! All right, and you have a transfer on Friday, so everybody keep
Woo!
and your thoughts when this comes out. Carrie's having a transfer.
Right. Sticky, sticky, sticky.
I'm Chantel. I'm a Canadian surrogate, and I'm on my third journey, and I also delivered one surro babe. I'm actually 19, almost 20 weeks pregnant, so.
Yay!
Oh,
Almost
wow.
halfway.
Yep.
Wow.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's just jump into it, shall we? So delivery, like, well, I guess the main thing is, so, because, as surrogates, we always get asked, like, hi, are you willing to have the parents in the room when you deliver? So, but I also know that some agencies will have you decide that kind of later down the line. So I'm just curious if any of you were like adamant on a certain situation or were open to discussion, how you felt, basically.
I was definitely, I want them in the room, but like we had all the discussions like before matching. Because up here, well, it's a lot different than US. And we had the discussions before, and I wanted them to be in the room because I wanted to see their reaction to finally having their baby.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I'd say mine was the same. I was open to if they didn't want to be, but I said, I'm good with, I'm kind of one of those strange people. I don't mind a lot of people in the room because I enjoy watching births. So,
Well, you're
and
a
that
doula.
was exactly. Oh, but yeah, that was something that my agency talked about in like the very first meeting that we ever had before so I guess it was our match meeting. They had asked, are you wanting to be in the room? Are you comfortable with them being in the room and all that? So we got it sorted out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the same for me. We talked about it in the match meeting and agreed that, yes, they would be in the room, because that's something that was important to me, was to have them be there for delivery.
And was that put in all of your contracts that they would be in the rooms, or did you leave it out?
For mine, it was put in that because it was during COVID times, that if only one person was allowed in the room, then I would have the final say of who it would be.
Good.
But if two people were allowed in the room, then it was one support person for me and then the intended mom.
Okay.
Got it.
Good.
mine was the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Well, isn't that lovely for you ladies? That was not the same for me, so that's why I always ask.
Yeah.
Because because contracts become legally binding, and then there becomes situations. So I always.
And it also depends on how. I mean, you could agree on that in match meeting, and it goes in contracts. But if the relationship doesn't go the way that everybody's hoping it goes, and there's a bump and a hiccup and a real big falling out, that makes it really uncomfortable in there.
Yeah.
Really uncomfortable.
So then the contract comes into play, and like a surrogate, like you don't really have a say anymore. It's if it's in there, they're in. So I get a little weird about that, just because if you're talking about it in match meetings, that's great. Everybody's all happy. Yay, let's do this. But then gosh forbid, what if something happens?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we speak from experience. That's why.
We
But
do.
I'm happy that
We
none of
do.
you ladies have had to have that happen.
Nah, me too. And I hope we
Yes.
never hear that anybody does have that again. Yeah.
Good. But now when it does come to delivery, right? How did that work for you ladies then? Were your IPs like close by? Did you call them and like did they sit in the room while you're laboring like the whole time? How did that go?
My IPs unfortunately did not make it, which
Oh,
I know it was hard because this one was just so different. I've always had where I start contracting and then it progresses and then it goes kind of, they just intensify and then it's kind of clear that okay, this is time, and then it goes pretty quickly. But this one, it was like 5 a.m. I started feeling, but they were super mild. I was able to just continue throughout the day. So I was like, oh, maybe it's prodromal labor. So I let him know. But then by the time I was just kind of in denial, I think. And my husband was at work, so he could not tell me, no, I think you're really in labor. By the time that I was with some friends and they were like, you should probably tell them. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And then they were, I think it was like 2 hours after he was born. So that was kind of hard, especially once I got checked and I was 5 centimeters. I started crying. I was like, they're not gonna make it. But we still got to call them, and so they got to hear his first cries and then do like a FaceTime with him immediately. So
okay, good.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm glad that happened then. That
Yeah.
they were
yeah,
somewhat part of it.
yeah.
Oh,
That's hard.
yeah.
'Cause everybody has plans. I hope it all works out. But babies come when babies want to come.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for me, mine was a planned induction.
Okay.
She was not coming, so they had to induce me. And we were told to be there at 4 a.m. or something like that. And they met me there at the time. Well, actually, I ended up having to go in at midnight to get Cervidil, and then the actual procedure started at like 6 a.m. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah, so
Procedure,
they were
like,
there with me the entire day.
Did they stay in the room the entire time or just kind of go out briefly?
They were there for most of the day. I did have them leave when I got my epidural for a
Yeah.
little bit so I could rest.
Yeah.
But other than that, as soon as I, was done resting after getting my epidural, they were right back in the room. Labor was taking quite a while. She didn't come until like 8 o'clock at night, so over 12 hours. So they did step out for dinner to eat dinner, and then I called them when it was time for me to start pushing.
Okay.
Okay. So they were both in there when baby was born.
Correct. Yep.
Now, because you said that they were in there majority of the time, did you feel like you had to entertain them? I know that's like kind of sometimes like a misconception that people fear, like, oh my gosh, do I have to like keep conversations going while I'm in labor and stuff?
Right. I did not feel that way. They talked to my husband a lot, but they let me do my thing.
Good.
And they would walk around the hospital with me or just let me go by myself with my husband. They were just, whatever you need, I'm here, but they wanted to be, a part of it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sweet.
It's a fine line sometimes.
yeah,
They've never been through it before, they don't know what to expect and
right.
or how long it's going to take.
Chantel, what about you?
So my IPs came to my town. I think I was 37 weeks and 2 days, just because they didn't want to miss the birth. And well, I wanted them to be here too. And basically they were my support people. I had nobody else. I didn't want anybody else.
Okay.
So I think my contractions started at 4:35, and knowing my body and my previous labors, I knew it might be quick. So I FaceTimed them. They didn't answer.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I'm like, shit.
Was it in the middle of the night? 4:35
Yep.
a.m.? Okay.
Well, by the time I called them, because I waited to see where my contractions would go,
Yeah.
but they just went boom. So I still waited till like 5, I think, to FaceTime them. But so FaceTime, you can mute your notifications, but if it's a call, your phone's gonna ring.
Okay.
Yeah, so I called them after,
Okay.
Okay.
and yeah, so they picked me up, and like by the time they got ready and got here, I'm like, okay, let's go.
Wow.
We
Oh,
gotta
they
get
picked
to
you
the
up?
hospital. Yeah,
Oh,
That's sweet.
yeah,
that's sweet. So were they,
yeah.
so they were with you the whole time then too, yeah?
Yeah, well, the whole time wasn't that long.
Sure.
Yeah, because so my first contraction was at 4:25, and she was out at 7:35.
Can I labor
Yeah.
like this, please? Like,
It's very whirlwind. Like you gotta have everything ready. You gotta be able to advocate for yourself while having intense contractions.
Yeah.
yeah.
Were they
But
just
yeah,
bewildered? Like, because it was so fast? Like, were they just like, what?
yeah, and I'm thankful it was fast because they didn't know what to do,
Yeah.
because well, their first baby, and like they've never gone through this, and like you're
Mhm.
watching somebody else in pain for
Yeah.
you.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
That's
yeah,
sweet.
so like I'm happy it went fast, but like they were like, what do you need? Do you want water? Like they were really great. And
That's
like
sweet.
she flew out in no time, thankfully, because I don't think they'd be able to watch me go in pain for longer,
Yeah.
because well, they were intense fast.
Yeah.
So that was that, I'm assuming, an unmedicated birth?
Yeah.
Of course. You go.
Yeah,
You go.
we wouldn't have had time.
Okay, wait. So yes, so Chantel, you're unmedicated. Carrie, you had an epidural. I've always had an
Mhm.
epidural because no thanks. And Mary, how how did it go for you this time?
This one was unmedicated as well. So yeah, that was
You were unmedicated, girl? Oh,
Like
that was
I applaud all of people who
Mhm.
go unmedicated. I am the first one when they offer the epidural. I'm like, absolutely, put me on your list because I know it'll be.
well, I just really love how afterwards, like literally
Yeah.
the moment the baby's out and then the
Yeah.
placenta's out, I'm like, I'm good. Like, I
feeling
mean,
good,
yeah.
I'm leaking, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good to walk around, and I feel great. But yeah, that was something that I was a bit worried for. Because yeah, it's hard. It's just hard. It's hard to see, like you said, Chantel, it's hard to see someone in pain. And
Yeah.
then I feel with the intended parents, the extra thing of like, this is for our baby, and so that was something that I kind of prepared them for. And I was like, I'm gonna make sounds that might sound kind of interesting. I might make movements that are kind of weird.
Yeah.
So just be
Aw.
prepared.
I might poop on the table.
Exactly. Just don't tell me I did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Aw. So funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then do your deliveries go how you guys kind of want them to, in like sense of so like how, I'm just trying to think like how that works. Obviously I know how that works, but like for other people, when it comes to you're there and maybe your partner's there and now you have IPs there and you have doctors there, like is the room crowded? Who are the doctors talking to? Like how are the IPs able to communicate with the doctor? Are they not? Like how did that go?
I think mine, they communicated with, like, they were talking to the IPs like they were the parents, because well, they are. And
Yeah.
like, but also to me, because I was the patient.
Right.
So like they just made sure, like, one, the IPs wouldn't be in the way of treatment, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
It was pretty different way back when. I was like, way back when.
See,
Like,
you don't talk enough about your past experience. You were 20 years ago. We want to compare and contrast.
yeah. Okay. So I had 2 C-sections because it was triplets and twins. So obviously nobody was in the room but my husband. So, but the first surrogate baby was natural, no meds. They were there. It was very, very awkward. The nurse that was my nurse was very I was the first surrogate mother to or surrogate to have a baby in that hospital, very tiny community hospital, and I almost died doing it. So it spread like wildfire. And the IPs were almost, I hate to say it, but like not outcasted, but just they paid more attention to me. I just don't think they knew what to do. Like any question that they had, they were asking me, and I'm like, well, they're the parents. And I felt like I had to entertain. I did. I felt my husband and I felt like we had to entertain them. I think the labor was 9 hours, so it wasn't too long, but going unmedicated, it gets loud in there. And then the placenta stuck, and it went from 0 to 100 in like seconds. They kicked them out. They put me in emergency surgery. I was hemorrhaging too much, and I didn't even get to see her. Like I didn't even get to see her. So it was weird. They did give them permission to let them bring that baby into the ICU to see me after I got out of surgery, which was nice, I guess. But I was so drugged up, and so I didn't know who the hell they were. I'm like, huh? Like, we want to show you the baby. They want me to hold her. I'm like, I can't hold her. Like, I'm gonna drop her. Like, I just wasn't comparing. It was just really, really different because it was so new. But they were in the room the whole time, but it was very awkward. And I'm a person who anybody can be there. Like Mary said, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But it was awkward because I knew I was doing something for them. And if I messed it up, which in the end it did mess up a little bit, but that wasn't my issue. No, I mean, it just was the placenta. But it was weird. It was really weird. And then they gave them a room, obviously, and all that stuff. But it was just weird because they kept bringing the baby to me. I'm like, no, 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 no. It goes over there, like over there in that room. It was just odd. But delivery was I'm really glad sorry to say, it had C-sections the second 2 times because I didn't have to deal with it. It was just get the babies out and let them go. I'll go to recovery. You can go see your babies. And the triplets parents never made it. They made it about an hour after they were born. So, but they had a lot to deal with. They just go. So, yeah, but it's way different.
So now I have lots of questions because as she was talking, I thought of them all. Okay. So, okay. I'm just trying to think where I should start. Okay. Well, first of all, because now it's a thing. Don't think it was a thing back then, Mom. Cord blood. Did you guys have to bring the kit, or was it already at the hospital? Was it IP's like situation? Do you do that in Canada? I don't know.
We didn't.
Okay.
We didn't. Like, we did delayed cord clamping so that the baby could get all the blood possible in. But that's it.
I was just gonna say my IPs, they didn't do cord blood, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have any input.
Sure. What about you,
Okay, so my IPs did. They laid the baby on me. And then I didn't have to come up with anything. They already had the kit. I don't know if they did it themselves or if the doctor had it. I have no clue. I was out of it. But I just know they laid her on me while they did all that stuff. And then once it was over, they handed her to the parents.
Got it.
Okay.
And I did cord blood with the first surrogate baby.
Yeah,
They sent the kit to me. Again, they just didn't have that paradigm of where I wasn't the mother. It was very odd. So they sent the kit to me. I had to bring that with me. And they almost forgot to do it because it went into such a crazy turn at the end with the placenta and everything. So they got her out and I had to say cord blood. And my doctor was like, oh yeah, you're right. And so baby was in warmer and he's trying to get the cord blood out of the cord. And I'm just like, oh, God almighty, people. Yeah. So, yep.
For mine, I had to bring it I don't remember if my first one had the cord blood, but my second one did. And I had the thing and I had to bring it with me to the hospital. So I had to pack it in my bag to make sure I wouldn't forget it. But then my last journey, they brought it. So I don't know if it matters it can't matter on agency because I was with the same agency. So it might just matter on who they go through for cord blood. I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like it would make sense for the surrogate to have it because like,
She's
I just
the
think of
one
my
going.
situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like what if the parents don't make it and then they
Right.
had the kit and it's like, well, we're 2 hours away. We can't.
That may be the rationale. Yeah. Right.
I think I was given that rationale at one point too, because I was like, why do I have to bring this? Not that I care, just out of curiosity. Like, this is another thing I have to remember. My pregnant brain is gonna forget. Also, Carrie said something that I was gonna ask. When the baby was born, when the surrogate baby was born, was baby placed on you guys? Was it important for baby to be placed on you? Was it important for baby not to be placed on you? How did you guys feel?
We did not discuss it beforehand.
Okay.
And the doctor just placed the baby on me. She didn't ask, do you want this? Do you not want this? She didn't even ask the parents. We didn't talk about it anytime before the delivery. And so she just placed the baby on me.
How did you feel with that?
Yeah.
I was fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they were too, because they knew that, they had to get the cord blood and everything. So
Yeah, that was something that we had talked about. It was in like the agency had sent us a birth preference list and that they had wanted skin to skin. But when I think it was a week before the parents had another visit, it was something that I had asked about, like, what if, the plan is for you guys to be there, but what if you're not there? Are you wanting him to go on me for skin to skin, or are you wanting him wrapped up and you guys to have first skin to skin? With being a doula, it's just kind of, I just tried to, think of all the possible things. And they had said, they're like, yeah, no, we're okay with you doing skin to skin. And so I was really glad that once, like I said, once I was at 5 centimeters, they were still like 2.5, 3 hours away. That I was like, okay, so he's going to be on me. I'm okay with that. It was honestly, I mean, besides how unfortunate it was that they didn't get to be there, it was kind of like the best of both worlds, if that makes sense. As far as, like, I had him, I got to snuggle him. We had also talked about possibly nursing, and they said we're good with that. We know for milk supply, it's important for that first latch. So I did like skin to skin. I nursed him up until they came, so for like 2 hours.
Wow.
And then he was wrapped up and I got to hand him to them. And then it was like, okay, so I got to, just kind of like experience it all.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's sweet. That's cool.
Really cool. And that they were okay with all of that, because there are some that are
Yeah.
just like, we have to hold them first. We have to.
Exactly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I fully respect that.
Of
I
course.
fully, exactly. But yeah, no, the mom, she was so sweet. She's like, I know I'm the mom. We just wanted to have the benefits, and those are great benefits. So you go ahead.
Very
That's sweet.
Aw.
What about you, Chantel?
So for me, once she came out, once she flew out, they just threw her on me. I don't think there would have been space between, like, I don't think the cord was long enough for the mom to get her right away.
Okay.
So they just put her on me and waited for the cord blood to be done. And after they cut the cord, that's when I transferred her to her parents.
So it wasn't discussed prior to. I know. Again, I
We
know
we
Canada.
did.
Okay.
We did. They wanted skin to skin like soon after birth, but everything was so fast that we just reacted with what we had.
Right. Yep.
Because everything went fast. So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. So the minute the minute they put her on me, like I was fine with it. But I'm like, but they wanted her, but they wanted to do skin to skin. I'm like, so kind of waiting for them to cut the cord to be able to pass her along. And
Yeah.
And you got to pass her, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
How do you
she was
guys
on me,
feel
and then
about
I
that?
just-
Like, is that something
Hang
that
on,
you all?
That's coming.
Sorry.
I all get in town.
Duh.
Okay.
I'm done with that one.
Wait, hold on. So now you have to say your experience, mother.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So that first one, baby went on me. They did not want that. There was a gay couple. They were adamant not on me, but they wanted cord blood, right?
Okay.
So baby on me, he cuts the cord. I'm saying, don't forget cord blood. Then I'm like, I don't quite remember the timing of it, but she was here and then she was gone. So it had to have been pretty quick, because I think he saw the problem.
Right.
Yeah. And the couple came over real fast and they're like, are you okay? Everything good? And at least they were decent about that. And I'm like, oh, go see your baby. I'm totally good. Not knowing what the problem was. Right. I had no idea yet. Right. So then of course I crash, I do my thing, and they're dealing with their baby and they're freaking out. They're freaking out. I was told later they just cried and cried. So it was nice that they were worried about me, but I just said, go do your thing. So she was put on me. And then the triplets and the twins, they pulled them out and the couple was not there. and I had talked to my doctor ahead of time, and he showed me each baby. He literally, here's A, here's B, and he let me see them cry because it was a big deal. I needed to know they were crying and alive. And then twins, one of those passed away in utero, so he did the same thing with that. The same doc. He let me see the one, and then they brought the other one over in a petri, in a little kidney dish, and we got to say goodbye. But the couples were not in there for that. Neither one, they didn't make it
Right.
because it was emergency C-sections. Yeah.
Mhm.
So one time.
Okay. I am very adamant that I do not want baby to touch me.
Right.
I had a situation when my son was born where he wasn't placed on me because it's a complicated story, but he had to go away for a half hour. And so I never wanted to have that type of bond with a different baby, rather it be my own, because I just don't know how I would feel. So my doctor and the whole team is very aware of it. So each time that the babies come out, he's just holding them up. He's like, "Hold on, we gotta stay here for like 30 seconds to a minute. We're just gonna hang out." Poor guy, he's like getting an arm workout, just holding this little baby.
So funny.
And then they like take the baby away, they clean him or her up, they give him to the parents. But I'm very adamant for myself, for my own personal reasons, that I don't want to hold baby first. Even when my parents, the IPs didn't make it for my second journey, and we wanted to keep her warm and loved, so she stayed in the incubator and she was swaddled. But I was like, I have no right to hold this baby before they do. They are going to be here in 20 minutes. It'll be fine. Baby won't even remember not being held for 20 minutes. It's fine. So yeah, that's how mine went.
And I was present at each one of Kennedy's surrogate births. And the one thing I remember the most was when baby came out and they held the baby up because she did not want the baby placed on her. The room was so quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Nobody was saying anything. Everybody's just waiting, like, to exhale. Like, is he or she okay? Like, everybody was like, and then once he cut cord and then baby went to the incubator, then everybody started like, oh God, going crazy. But it was so weird. It was like they turned off a switch. You can't talk. It was so weird.
Sounds a little awkward.
All three times they did it. Yep, it was so weird.
Just chilling.
I know.
Okay, so when baby goes to parents, I know you guys are gonna love this question. When the baby goes to the parents, are you feeling like abandoned, like that was your baby? Like, how dare the baby leave you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
There you
Oh,
go.
no.
It's yours.
Exactly.
Okay, now
My job's done.
okay, so because there's 3 other surrogates on here and not just me and my mom, can anybody elaborate why you don't care that this child is not going to go home with you?
Because it's
Not
not
only-
yours.
Yeah, and not only don't care, I do not want. I do not
Right.
want
Yep.
another baby.
Right.
I was telling my husband the first night, or when we got discharged and we were home, I was like, "Isn't it great? Isn't it great? We don't have a baby next to us." And he was like, "Yeah, that's great."
To do postpartum recovery without a newborn is just magical.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Living
So
my best
easy.
life.
So wonderful. Oh my gosh.
During the pregnancy, were people asking you that question? I mean, because surrogacy is a lot more known now. Were they asking you how, oh my gosh, how can you give that baby away? Like, did you ever get asked?
Yeah.
I didn't get
Often.
that. I didn't get that exact question.
Mhm.
I just got a lot of, well, how do you feel about that?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And would you
So-
respond, or would you just, you're like, I can't do this again?
I would respond. I would just say, well, I have 3 of my own children,
Mhm.
and I don't want any more. And I know from the beginning going into this that this is not my child. And so I feel like, this is just a friend's baby, or, maybe a niece or a nephew, but in no way am I attached to it,
Yeah.
him or her.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would always I could never give a baby away, or I could never give my baby away. To which I always I just take it as an opportunity. Oh, I'm not giving my baby away. It's theirs.
Yeah,
It's their baby.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I do the same. I do the same. Like I heard a lot like, oh, I would never be able to give my baby up. It's like, it's not mine. Like it's
Yeah.
no.
Right.
Like I'm happy to get, like, I'm doing this specifically for them.
Mhm.
If I'd want another child, I'd go ahead and have another,
Right.
Mhm.
but I don't.
Right.
So here
Right.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my family, like my sisters and brothers and in-laws and stuff, they honestly like sometimes would forget I was pregnant because they're like,
Oh.
this isn't going to affect, like,
Right.
you're not having a baby that's going to be a part of our family and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Like they were planning family pictures and we had to move it up. And we were like, yeah, we're good. And they're like, wait a minute, Mary, you're still pregnant.
Oh. Yeah.
So I was like, it's fine.
Funny. Oh,
It's fine.
funny.
It'll be a memory. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And as you said, Mary and Shanta, all of you said this, like, you're not giving a baby up, you're giving a baby back. There's a big difference there. It was never ours. I just love it when the haters say, like, "Oh, how could you give your baby up?" Well, we're not. But I remember my other question now. Okay, so when the baby goes to the IPs, when you have the baby, when the baby is born, and Mary, I know this is gonna be a little bit different for you because your IPs weren't there, but I'm hoping that you still got to have some of that feeling. How do you guys know where I'm trying to go with this? When the baby's born and you see
What did you feel? Yeah.
what is that
Accomplished.
feeling?
Accomplished.
Just pure
Your
bliss. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just pure bliss that, like, oh my God, I did that. Like
Mhm.
they have their
Yep.
baby. They wouldn't have it if it wouldn't be for me. And it's like,
Yep.
it's so great to see them with their child. It's like, you're not gonna sleep for a while, and I will.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I love what you said. You did that. I like when you're a surrogate. I did that. Yeah, you had a little help from an infertility doctor, but basically, you and your family did that. Yeah, that's not really talked about a whole lot. You give up a lot, but we go into it knowing we're going to give up a lot. But you get so much in return. Like, so, I'm not talking the compensation. I'm talking you get to hand them their baby. Like, who can do that? It's a very small group of very selfless women who can do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
you did do that. And Mary, you just did do that. Like less than
I know.
Well, I feel like with mine, it was, like I said, I mean, besides how unfortunate it was that they didn't get to be there, it was almost like it was extended. Like I got the immediate, okay, he's out, that part's done. And then, oh, he's here, he's healthy. And then got to kind of snuggle him a bit and then wrap him up and then physically hand him to his parents a few hours later.
That's so cool.
It's very
So
sweet.
cool.
Very sweet. Yeah, when people ask me that question, I always say it's honestly an indescribable feeling. It's like a high that you will literally never find anywhere else. Like, I don't care what kind of drugs you take. It can't be found. You can't make that unless you're a surrogate. You can't experience it unless you're a surrogate. It's the best feeling. And I don't know about you ladies, but that is the feeling that made me want to be a surrogate again. A repetitive surrogate that was like, oh my gosh, all those shots were worth it. I totally forget all the times that I hit a nerve and my butt went numb and I threw up and all these awful things. Like, that was like, this is worth it 1,000 times over.
Yeah. So when I delivered my surrogate baby, I didn't feel those feelings like right away. Like, yes, I felt accomplished and happy. I was really excited for them. The baby went, straight to their own room right away. And I had complications.
Okay.
My placenta stuck as well. I lost a lot of blood. I hemorrhaged. So I don't think I really processed everything until a couple days later.
Yeah.
And then once everything hit me, it's like I just started bawling. But it wasn't that I was sad. It was that I was so happy that, I was alive. The baby was healthy. The parents, I got to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And can I say thank you for sharing that it took you a couple days to process? because I think a lot of surrogates, because some of us do feel it on impact, that a lot of them feel pressured to feel that. And it's like, what's wrong with me if I don't feel that? And I'm happy. Thank you for sharing that, because nothing's wrong with you. It's gonna take some time. Like, it's okay. Especially if you have complications in your life at stake. Like, take a minute. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I forgot that happened to you, Carrie.
Yes.
And it happens kind of frequently. Like, the amount of girls that we've talked to that's had that done.
Yeah.
It's a little like, oh, okay, cool.
With the triplets, it didn't hit me until I held all three at the same time.
At the same time, you couldn't just go up and hold one. You had to hold all three.
No, I went, well, all three were in, right? So within a week, I was holding all three because I had complications with that one too. So that's when it hit me. And I just like, and the parents were there, the guys were there. And that was the magical moment. It wasn't when I birthed them, because they weren't there. And that was a sigh of relief. It was like, oh, thank God. They all cried. And I could breathe again. Yeah. It happens.
Also, something was said, and then we're going to get into more of it, but something was said a while back by a influencer person, whatever, Khloe Kardashian, right? She said it was transactional. Okay. I personally don't think it feels transactional unless it's made transactional by both parties. But I'm curious if either of you, because it was a prominent topic in this dang community for a while, because we all felt the hit and the impact from it. So do you feel like it was a transactional encounter to hand it to, or do you feel that it was, because as she said, I just felt like I ripped the baby from this woman and went into another room. Do you feel as though the baby is ripped from you?
No, because personally, it's not mine. Like,
right.
It's not mine, so I'm happy to hand it over to the parents, but it did not feel transactional because we had such a good relationship. So I was so happy to finally give them their baby, and they didn't just like leave and okay, bye, and never see them again. So
So
Same.
mine, like, I didn't think it was transactional that they, I had the baby and then they just took it to the other room. I mean, I knew that was coming. We had a decent relationship, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But I still don't feel like, even though we weren't as close as I wanted us to be, that it was not at all transactional. Because they came to every single appointment. They lived 45 minutes away. So they came to every single appointment that I had, and was very involved in everything. And then I got to see her a couple times after birth, like when I was delivering milk or anything. But the last time I've seen her was on her first birthday, and she'll be 2 this month.
So that's been a year.
That's cool.
It's been almost a year, but I still don't feel like it was transactional. I mean, the mom still texts me every once in a while with updates and
sweet.
Happy Mother's Day and happy birthday and all that kind of stuff. So
that's
sweet.
That's awesome.
Mary, did you feel like it was transactional?
Not in the slightest. Not in the absolute slightest. I the same though. I have the intended parents are absolutely incredible. We have a great relationship. So from the whole time it was, I can't wait for you to hold your baby and all that. And they were just, we wait to support you and we love you. And so they're just the sweetest.
Oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet.
My first was transactional. 100%. They wanted to buy a baby and they bought a baby. And I'm not even sorry to say that. That's how it worked. That's why I had to do it the second time. Had to, because I absolutely did not get what I needed or what I was looking for from that first one. It wasn't this huggy, feely, warm feels, warm fuzzies, all that. I didn't get any of that. So that's why I did the second one, and the second one hooked me, and then I did the third. So there you go. And I would have kept doing them if I could. Because I knew something else was out there. I did.
Yeah.
I found it.
With my first two, I definitely did not feel like it was transactional. No part of the journeys felt like they were transactional. However, with my third, it was very clear that it was a transactional journey. But I don't feel that the delivery itself felt transactional. The delivery itself felt like, freaking A, finally, I did my part. Here's your baby. Like, it was more of like a, haha, I did it. Victory. Baby is healthy. Baby is born. I get to see baby. And now you get to be a parent. And I still, even though we had an awful relationship, it was still very sweet to see her reaction. And she thanked me. And she's on her merry little way. And I don't know where they are. But, you know, they living a life. So that's totally fine. But I don't feel like the delivery itself was transactional.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. Now, after birth, do they get their own rooms? Does baby, or do you guys have a hospital where there's a nursery? They don't have that where we are.
No more.
No, they got their own room. It was right next to mine.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
Do y'all think rooms next to yours is just a little too close? Or just, I know we all want to be lovey, huggy, fuzzy, but just a little too close?
It could be. I think it depends on the relationship.
Well, that baby's gonna cry at night. You're trying to sleep. I don't know. I'm just
I didn't hear her. My husband said he heard her. She cried all night long, but I did not hear her.
Oh man.
Harry's like,
We
I'm
just-
out.
You just had a situation. You're tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chantel, do they have nurseries up in Canada? I don't know.
No,
They don't. Babies
no,
room in.
and
Okay.
yep, and
Okay.
like right after the birth, they stayed in the labor room a bit with me, and then we
Okay.
all got transferred to our own rooms, which were beside each other because we only have two up here.
Okay.
Funny.
Because
But
what was
I
that
also
last
did
part?
not hear. What?
Two
We
what?
only have two postpartum rooms.
And you got them both?
Yep. We were lucky. Nobody else was there. So we
Yeah.
had
In the
two.
hospital. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, ours the
Yep.
same. They once they came, they were in the room, the labor and delivery room with us. And then once we were postpartum, we got rooms next to each other, which worked out really nicely. Because again, something we had talked about was nursing and trying to establish a good supply. And so honestly, they were in my room more than they were in their room.
Oh, how funny.
The nurses would always come over. They'd be like, "Oh, here you guys are."
Oh,
Sweet.
that's cute.
Yeah, it's the same for us.
Aw.
I love
What
to
about-
hear that.
What
That's
about
awesome.
back then, Mom? Did they even get rooms?
First couple, yes, got a room across from me. They were crossed. But again, like I said, they kept wheeling when it was feed time, they kept wheeling the baby to me, and I kept having to, okay, she needs to go there.
Wait, was
And
there
they
a
chose,
nursery?
there was a nursery. Yes. Yes. All three of my babies went to a nursery. Yeah. But they decided not to stay in that room overnight. They decided to go back to their hotel. So when she needed feeds at night, they brought her to me, and I said, well, hell, I'm going to do them. So I did them because it just gave me a little extra time. Right.
Oh.
And then with the triplets, they had they stayed at the Ronald McDonald House
Mhm.
because their babies were going to be in the NICU, and they ended up being in the NICU for 5 weeks. So they stayed there, but they saw me. They came and saw me a lot. And then the third couple, they had a room all the way at the other end by my request to the head nurse, charge nurse. They need to be separated from me because it was not a good outcome.
Yeah.
So we only ran into each other one time in the hallway, and I got a thank you. Okay,
At least you got a
Aw.
thank you.
thank you.
Right side.
Like, whatever.
Right side.
You got
Yeah.
your baby. She's healthy. It's cool.
Yeah. And then for me, my first couple, they were right next door, and their nanny showed up literally 15 minutes after I gave birth and came in the room and was chilling out with us. So that was cool. That's a whole cultural difference. We won't
It
even
is.
touch that.
That
But
blew me away.
and one of the dads, so because they're from China, but one of them's like more Eastern, he was British, and he texted me and he's like, can I please come next door with the baby, because I just want to hang out with the baby without the nanny. And I was like, absolutely, like, come on over. He's like, I need to learn how to change a diaper. And so my mom taught him how to change a diaper. It was like really sweet. So
It was
being
cute.
next to them like that. My second couple, they were down the hall, and my third couple, I was put on a VIP list. They couldn't find out where I was, so there were security walking the halls and stuff for protection, and it was fun. That was cool. But yeah, so there's all that different ways to have to have your people.
I want it to be like Mary's way and Chantel's way. Like I want everybody's journey to be that way. That everybody's hanging out, everybody's doing their thing. And Carrie, yours seems to be good as well, but it just didn't seem like because you had a complication. So
Right.
and they have to take care of us so we don't die, God forbid.
Yeah.
But that would be my wish for every surrogate to have that experience,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
feel appreciated, to feel loved once you've met your contractual obligation, even though we don't like to look at it as a contractual obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all deserve it.
Yeah. They kept asking if I wanted the baby after, but I was just so
Yeah.
out of it
Right?
that I said that I didn't want to because I was afraid I would drop her.
Me too. Yep. You need blood
So
to survive, people, and we lost a bunch, right?
yeah, so I just said, can I just wait until tomorrow?
Aw. At least they asked.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
Mhm.
was scary for them too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, nobody anticipates that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's happening quite more frequently. Like it's weird. Placenta
Yeah.
sticking.
Yeah, I have to say thank you guys for sharing that, by the way, because after listening to quite a few of the podcasts, I was seeing kind of a pattern of that, of retained placentas. And so I told my husband, especially with wanting to go unmedicated, I was like, hey, so here's a situation that might happen. You're going to hear, again, some crazy sounds if it happens. It did not happen. That was my first question. As soon as he was like, the placenta's out, I was like, is it intact? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Right.
Whew.
Yeah.
I will say, because it happened to her, like this is before we started the podcast and everything like that. Every time I went into my doctor, I would like my OB, I'd be like, so how likely is it to happen to me? Because it happened to her. And I was like, this is my fear. And he's like, it's not genetic. I'm like, prove it. Like, I have no faith in you that it's not genetic. Like, this is a terrifying thing. Because my mom almost died twice. And I'm just like, this doesn't, I need you to be on alert. It was more so just like me saying it enough to like drill him to be like, be on alert that this is the thing that happens. I know you're an OB, but like, be on alert. Because like, it's scary. It's scary to hear about. And like, luckily, I'm happy that everybody that has said something about it is doing well and is fine. But like in the moment, super scary.
And we delivered. That's why I'm so glad they try to have surrogates, I think, believe, right? You guys, level 3 NICUs, right? Where you have to be in a hospital with that. So there's specialists there that can handle it. But we were in such a tiny little community hospital, like literally a mile from my house, that my OB who delivered me could not take me to surgery and fix me. They had to call in another who just happened to be delivering a baby at the same time. And he's the one who saved my life. Yeah. Because my doc couldn't do it. And I'm like, oh, and of course I don't know any of this until it's over. But yeah. And then you lose like 12 hours of your life. You're like, well, what the heck? I just had a baby. What time is it? And they're like, oh, it's the next day at like 4 p.m. You're like, what? Yeah. It's just weird.
Wow.
But yeah. So I'm all off for the bigger hospitals. Yeah. I would travel. And I did for the next two. We went a little further.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it.
You wouldn't make it. Yeah, right. You go too fast.
Make it.
Yeah.
I'd give birth in the car. So
Oh my God, that's a fear of mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. There's no epidural involved with that. So no. Like,
That's always my husband. He's like, don't have this baby in the car. I'm like,
Right?
well, I can't really control that. So, it is what it is.
yeah,
just oh my God.
hope for the best. This is like kind of like my last question, unless anybody, and then if you guys have anything else to add, but if you listen to the podcast, you guys know that we are advocates for a certain something after delivery, because you just never know how your relationship's going to go. And I'm just curious if anybody had alone time with the baby, or if that was important, or how did time being spent after delivery go, and were your kids involved in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. Well, obviously I didn't get to see her because of my complications. When I wanted to see her the next day, she was already in the NICU. She was, full term. I had her at 39 plus 4, but they said because I pushed her out so fast that she had some fluid built up. And she was having a hard time getting rid of that. So she had to go to the NICU. So I actually left the hospital without seeing her.
Oh,
And I had a wedding that I had to attend
right.
um, like 2 days later. So I drove 12 hours to my sister's wedding. And then when I came back, we stopped on the way back. We stopped to deliver milk at their house. So I got time with her then, and my family got to spend time with her as well.
Oh, sweet.
So how many
Yeah.
days was that then, Carrie? 4 or 5?
Um,
Longer?
I probably got to see her on day 5 or 6.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Were you feeling sad that you couldn't, or just you knew
No,
you were gonna? Okay.
I knew I was going to see her, and when she was in the NICU, they gave me permission to watch her on camera. They gave me the code and everything, so I got to
Oh, that's sweet.
I got to, check up on her whenever I wanted to.
That's
So,
very sweet.
yeah.
Good. Love it.
Yeah, I got to see her right after, but I didn't ask for skin to like a 1 hour with her like you guys always advocate for. I just didn't. I don't have a bond with the baby. I have a bond with the parents.
Fair.
So like I couldn't. I did want my kids to meet her, and they did a bunch of times because we hung out. I think they stayed in town for 4 days after,
Okay.
so we got to hang out every single day, and like I got to see them like panic and all the
Oh,
new parent stuff, and
yeah.
yeah, and my kids got to meet her and all, but my kids, they were I think 5 and 7, no, yeah, 5 and 7 I believe, and like they didn't really, oh okay, that's the baby, cute.
Yeah.
But like I like the parents more. Can we hang out more?
Oh,
Oh,
that's cute.
Yeah,
sweet.
they were happy to meet her, and they like
Yeah.
kind of closure, but they didn't care all that much. Like they loved the VIPs. So
Okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen little Surro Nugget so much. Like I said, they were in my room more than in their room. I nursed him like right up until we got discharged last night. The mom has already brought him over twice today, and she's going to bring him again tonight to nurse. And then my kids got to meet him in the hospital, and I have a 6, a 4, and a 2-year-old. And I knew my 6-year-old had been saying the whole time, I really want to hold the baby. I really want to. And I had asked the parents, and they said yes. My 4-year-old, he was indifferent. He just wanted to play in the hospital room. But
Oh
my
my God.
2-year-old, she really surprised me. We asked her, and she was like, yes, I want to hold this baby. And so she's just sitting there, and we have such precious pictures of like the mom handing her to her, and her just like in awe at this baby. And so, just getting to talk to them being so young, that, this is the baby that was kicking you, and this is the baby that you sang to. And now, the baby was in my tummy. Now the baby's here, and the baby's with their parents, and they're going to go home. And so it was good. Kids
Do you live
loved
far
it.
from your IPs, Mary, or are they?
Like 4.5-hour drive.
Okay, that's close. Yeah, that's close.
Yeah.
It's not like a plane ride. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Great.
So we'll be doing visits.
Yeah. Are you gonna pump for them too?
Yeah.
Good for you. That's super nice.
Honestly,
never
it's really beneficial for me. I feel I get to eat so much when I'm pumping. I'm just always hungry. When I'm pregnant, I feel like all the organs are squishing, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
I can't
God.
eat very much. But when I'm nursing, I'm like, bring it.
I feel like we should do a Friday Facts on freaking pumping and like nursing, because like I've never done it, and like I know that so many women have, and so many women might want to and have questions about it. So maybe we'll add that to the list one day, because that seems like an interesting topic. Don't really know how all that works. Yeah.
There is compensation involved with that though, right? That you just have to say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
there is.
not for us.
Not for
I know, Chantel. I'm
Not for us.
sorry.
We have the shitty end of the stick.
I know.
Did you pump for this baby? This Surro babe?
I pumped while they were in town.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just pumped for 4 days, and then that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. But then you had to dry up. Oh God.
I hear.
You know what?
Like,
I dry up pretty fast.
Just
so
like you have
I'm-
babies.
Yeah. Seems to be a theme.
I was like, just be done with it. Yeah. I love it.
I hear though that like pumping is like the same as having a newborn. So
That's why I
it-
wasn't a huge fan of it, because I I want to sleep at night. I don't want to wake up to pump.
Yeah.
I want to
Right.
sleep. Like I deserve this.
Yeah,
But like
Yeah.
pumping is also beneficial to your health too. So
sure.
it's like, oh, am I gonna do it this time? Am I not? I have no idea. I'm not there
Oh,
yet.
and they asked? Have they asked?
Yeah.
And you have,
They would like me to pump, but it's like they're also 9 hours away.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like we have to ship it, and like
yeah,
I'm in Northern Ontario, so it's the shipping, you can't just get it like within a few
overnight.
hours. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
See, this would be a phenomenal topic to discuss because I'm intrigued.
yeah.
Yeah. I pumped for 8 months with my surrogate baby, and
Oh my, kudos to you.
yeah, and I pumped for a year and a half with my own children, so I've got a lot of knowledge.
That
That's
okay, Carrie.
great, Carrie.
I'll find out your schedule and we'll make sure that you can attend.
Well, just to finish that, did you have to ship it, or were they close enough that you guys did like drop-offs?
Oh no, they were 45 minutes away,
Oh,
so I got to
there you
meet
go.
them every time. Yeah.
Very
Okay, well,
nice.
then maybe
That's
it might
awesome.
be worth it because you're not
Yeah.
having to do all the shipping and
Dry
Yeah.
ice and
and
everything. It's
stuff.
like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Okay, so then mom, how'd it go for you?
Yeah.
Because you're the one
Okay.
who just got
So
me it.
yeah. So that was something that was told to me from my agency. You need to
Mhm.
ask for an hour. That was with my first couple, and then I just continued to put it in. Obviously, with the triplets, it didn't quite happen the way, but I wore all the wristbands. I had full access to them in the NICU for the 5
Yeah.
weeks. If the parents were there or if they weren't, they knew who I was. I could call anything. So that was a different story. But with the first one, um, I, because of the complications, right? We had it written in contracts that we would be discharged on the same day. If one party was going to stay longer than the other, we would both be waiting and the insurance would pay and we would discharge, walk out same day. That, of course, did not happen. I had to stay extra days and they came in and were very upset that they had to switch their plane tickets again. And I just literally called the charge nurse in and said, go ahead, let them go. I'm fine. And it was way better that they did leave. I think they left on day 3. I was there till day 6. Yeah. And I
Wow.
knew they wanted to get started with their life, but they could have done it a little differently. I would have
Yeah.
been more than happy to let them go. But they were, yeah. So the hour, I did get it. I did get it, but I had to really, really push for it,
Mm.
which shouldn't have been because it was in the contract
Mhm.
without them there. And
Right.
yeah, right. They weren't there.
And the last baby?
Yeah, that was a tough one. The charge nurse had to come in for that one, and had to literally bring the baby in because they didn't want to abide by the contract.
Right.
And so I did have her for an hour, and a nurse came in 15 minutes left of my hour. My kids were saying goodbye. My mom was there, and she came in, and she was one of the float nurses, so she wasn't real up on this or communicative, what have you. She didn't know the ins and outs that I was getting the hour, and she came in. She goes, "Okay, baby's going back." I said, "Over my dead body." And I said, "You can leave." And I immediately called the charge nurse and she came in and she made sure that we got our time for that last 15 minutes. And then I walked the baby back because I showed the parents, I'm better than this. Here you go. Have a nice life. Like it shouldn't have gone down that way, but it did.
Yeah.
So that's why I always advocated for Kennedy. Ask for the hour because you never know what you're going to get. I never went into any of these intending that the relationships were not going to work out. It was
Mhm.
a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, and it was put in all mine as well. And my first couple, I got so much access to her. It was, and we had such a great relationship. So it did
Yeah.
not matter. He came into my room and was like, teach me how to do things. I want to get away from the nanny. And I was like, fine, like, let's like come hang out, watch TV, do whatever.
Yeah.
My
Cute.
second couple, I did get the hour and they were grateful for it because they were like, oh, cool. We're going to go put the car seat in the car. We're going to like get things like, it's fine. Like, we're going to go grab coffee. Like, we're going to like talk to each other for like a minute. They were not bothered at it by all. Cause a lot of the times people say like, how dare you like want to be alone with this baby for an hour? And oftentimes I just kindly respond, well, if they trust me for 9 months to carry their baby without their supervision, I can have 1 hour where my son doesn't feel awkward and like we can just say hello and goodbye to this baby because I don't know how things are going to go. And then in my last journey, my mom was there, baby was born. I was like, let me hold, my mom was the one who said it. She's like, can she just hold the baby for a picture? And so I did, and I have the baby for what? less than 2 minutes. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, nice to meet you." And I just didn't even fight for the hour because I was on a VIP list and I was like, I don't need to deal with anything. Just it's
Right.
fine. But in instances like that, if I really wanted the hour, I could have, but it was during COVID and my son couldn't come. And that was the main reason I did it anyways. So
And they did offer to bring him over.
they
They did.
offered. But it was I didn't want them to know where I was. So I said,
I know.
I'm fine.
I know.
I think they offered just that way they could find out where I was. But that's my own take on that. But anyway, amazing. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your stories. And Carrie has a transfer the day this comes out. Everyone sends her. I've said it before. I'm gonna keep saying it. Send her sticky vibes. Mary just had a baby. Send her healing vibes. Chantel pregnant. Send her good vibes.
Awesome.
Got like the full spectrum.
I've gone through menopause, so I'm all done.
Okay, good. There we go. There we go. There you go. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for taking your time to talk with us. We really appreciate it.
Gosh, we really do. Seriously. And Mary, what a trooper. Dear God. Not even 48 hours. Girl.
I'm telling you guys, I'm literally laying in bed.
That's so, but look at you're just radiant. I don't know. You're all put together. I can't.
Your
I can
jammies
just
are so cute.
I'm in jammies. It's Target. It's like they're so soft. I'm in like jammies, braless, laying in my bed, no makeup, hair's a mess. This is life.
Live your best postpartum life. Just do it.
Yes. And good luck, Carrie. We'll be thinking of you.
Thank you so much.
You, Chantel. Keep growing that baby.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, what wonderful
That was cool.
That was fun.
Cool.
Because everybody had different
different
outcomes, look, not every journey is the same.
It's not, but I like the journeys that they have that really good relationship and everybody just hangs out in the room. And I love that. I love that. I wish I would have had that one time, but it's okay. It's what it is.
Yeah, but you got the triplets that like you see and they're like 20 years old or like 21 years old now. And
that is true. That is true.
I think you win.
That was a great one.
I would love that relationship to be like, hey, they're probably gonna invite you to their wedding one day. Like, let's get real. It's fine.
College graduations are gonna come up in a couple of years. I'm wondering if I'll
I'm sure.
We'll see.
I'm sure. Yeah. No, that's cool though. Well, all right. If anybody has any stories or any questions that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate. And this has been
another edition of Stop.Sit.Surrogate Friday Facts with Kennedy and Ellen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.